Ladies and gentlemen, what you're looking at is the reigning #1 seed of the Western Conference in the 2024 NBA season. And Oklahoma City, they didn't just showcase one of the best offenses, but also one of the best defenses in basketball last year. And I mean, over the course of this offseason so far, this team didn't just add one, they got two of the most sought after players in both the trade and the free agent market. They've re-signed key role players. They even made more big moves in the draft this year. And this man did not give up a single asset in the process of all of this. Like, I mean, how? Now, sure, everything we've mentioned so far, it looks phenomenal on a sheet of paper, okay? And that's no matter what way you try and spin it. But specifically with this guy joining the picture now, I mean, it could be something that we have never seen before. But before we get into that, today's video is brought to you by our friends at Dave. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we all would like a little financial help sometimes. And whether it be for having cash between paychecks, unexpected bills, purchases, you name it, Dave is the banking app that is leveling the financial playing field. Because when you download Dave, you can get up to $500 in 5 minutes or less. No credit check, no late fees. It's part of Dave's extra cash account. Advance the money that you need with no interest. So be sure to download Dave today at dave.com/hoopsdigest. Again, that is dave.com/hoopsdigest, and you can get up to $500 in 5 minutes or less when you download Dave. No credit check and no late fees. Download the app or go to dave.com/hoopsdigest. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Eligibility criteria and instant transfer fees apply. Banking services provided by Evolve, member FDIC.
You see that perimeter pressure. Murphy the move. Murphy flies up and got denied at the top. Incredible two-handed block from Holmgren.
Swing it to Dunn. Down low inside. Oh, blocked by Hartenstein. Rejects it out of bounds.
So, these are just a couple clips of arguably two of the greatest rim protectors in basketball for their respective teams last season. And now they are teammates sharing a front court together, pretty much embodying the pure definition of a nightmare for opposing defenses. And that is one of the biggest factors about this signing, because when the news initially broke of it, obviously also coupled with the addition of Alex Caruso just about a week prior to this, so many people are now curious how Oklahoma City is going to go about this rotation. For example, will Chet play at the 4 and Hartenstein at the 5? Will Hartenstein be coming off of the bench? Hell, what about Alex Caruso? Are both of their new additions going to be bench pieces at the start of the season? I mean, you guys, the more I saw people argue about this situation, it just made me even more terrified of what this team is going to be capable of. Let's start specifically on the offensive side of the ball, because while Hartenstein's numbers from last year, they won't wow you by any means necessary. In fact, some of you were probably surprised to see the contract that he ended up obtaining. But I mean, there aren't many bigs across the entire league, for that matter, that simply put connect an offense more than Isaiah Hartenstein does. And areas specifically like his playmaking and facilitating, those are where he earns every penny of a contract like this.
Now he goes in there again. Hartenstein inside to Achua, count it, and the foul.
Because unlike, say, Chet Holmgren, who ran the majority of the 5-4 Oklahoma City last year, Hartenstein doesn't necessarily tend to stretch the floor with his shooting ability, even though he can do it from time to time.
Hartenstein has to let it fly. Looked phenomenal shooting it.
When you jump into areas like, say, generating points off offensive rebounds, or even the pick and roll, for another example, it is second to none. Okay, the film isn't just telling you that, but the numbers are right alongside that as well. And are you guys picking up on the fact that every single skill set of Isaiah Hartenstein's that we've mentioned, they all tie directly into Oklahoma City's offensive philosophy? Example number one would be driving to the rim. Okay, most of you know that Oklahoma City did this far more than any other team across the league last season. And I mean, whether it's driving himself or generating for others off of those drives, most of his offense comes from this aspect as well. And guys like Shai and J-Dub specifically, they know how to capitalize on this. Then there is also what a guy like Hartenstein can do for the expansion in use of Chet Holmgren. Because say whether it's allowing him to stretch the floor more, as we know he's capable of, maybe creating easier driving lanes for him along with the rest of the team that we already mentioned. Seeing him in a potential 4 role could immensely open up his game. But what easily might be the most underrated aspect of Hartenstein's game, I'd have a hard time arguing it's anything but the dribble handoff. You saw so many times last year where Hartenstein was stretching the floor despite not being a viable shooting threat, and 9 times out of 10, he still dragged those defenders with him because of that ability to create space and, of course, the elite court vision.
It's McBride 3.
And I mean, y'all saw what he was doing in New York last season, so I just want you to try to imagine what he's going to be able to do with all of these perimeter shooting threats now at his disposal. And if there's anything I do know, it is that Mark Daigneault is going to have a field day with his rotations, okay? That is a guarantee. And of course, I'm saying that from an offensive standpoint with everything we've covered so far. But the thing is, we haven't even deep dove into the defensive possibilities of this team. Let's start with the fact that you're adding a guy who was one of 3 players in basketball last year to tally both 85 steals and blocks, nonetheless at the 5 position, to what was already a top 3 defense in the league. You've got arguably the most terrifying guard and wing combo of defenders ever in Lu Dort, Cason Wallace, and now Alex Caruso at your disposal. And even back to the point of if OKC is going to potentially run a Chet plus Hartenstein 4-5 front court. Okay, while we don't know what their go-to is going to be until we get to the month of October here, but what we do know is that Oklahoma City's rotation versatility, it's not going to be matched by many teams next season, okay? And the craziest part is they might not even be done yet in this offseason. But of course, regarding everything that we have mentioned in this video, this is where I need to hear what you guys have to think of it. So please let me know in the comments. What has surprised you the most out of everything that we've seen Oklahoma City do up to this point in the 2024 offseason? And give me 2 predictions. What's going to be this team's final record and what's going to be their starting 5 on opening night next season. But once again, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate y'all more than anything, and I will see you guys in the next video.